Welcome back to another episode of The Works. I'm Jim.
I'm Diane.
A couple shout outs. Thank you, Charlotte. The city of Charlotte is now an official on the listener list.
Yay.
Listener list. The LL listener list. So we added Charlotte. I stuck a map up there with little push pins.
Yeah. Shows
everybody where everybody is. So appreciate that.
Still waiting on my vodka.
Oh yeah. Hello, Moscow. You're falling down the list of our favorite cities that folks are listening from. But that might help. Had a comment. The theme song that we have, or that thing that we have, are there words to that? I've been asked. And what's the name of our theme show title? And so I guess we'll have, I'll have to make some lyrics up to go along with it.
Oh, that'll be fun.
Yeah. And the title, it's boring just to call it the theme show title,
Yeah.
thing. But yeah, we'll have to come up with lyrics and a name for that. So stay tuned. Today I wanted to be reminiscent a bit in this world of on-demand, which we've talked about, streaming, we've talked about. Oh, I'm going to download our list of things we've watched from Netflix from the beginning of our account. You could do that, right?
Yeah, kind of like a year in review.
Right, but it's forever.
Forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do that just to remind ourselves that the only reason I was thinking that the other day, the thing that started all of the fun stream, of course, COVID kept us all in.
Right.
What was your first? I know what ours was, but what was your first COVID streamed marathon session of any show?
Right. Was it Tiger King?
That was ours. Yeah, you gave it away. Yeah, Tiger King. At least I think it was. I have to go back.
Well, there was also the Don't F with Cats. I think that was the start.
I know, but that was only 3. Tiger King was much longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cats thing was pretty,
disturbing.
Very visceral, yeah. But wanted to be nostalgic today, and in the world of on-demand streaming, whatever happened to the giveaway? In the good old days, you'd always hope that Ed McMahon would show up at your front door with some balloons and a big-ass check from Publishers Clearinghouse, which, by the way, does that even exist anymore?
I don't know. That's worth a Google.
So, yeah, the giveaway. Publishers Clearinghouse, American Family Sweepstakes, or all those radio giveaways.
Be the 10th caller.
Yeah. Now, if they call you and you have, what was know the phrase that pays.
Oh, yeah. I never tried any of those.
Ever? Really?
No.
You never won anything? I guess this is going to make this conversation a lot of fun then, because my whole point was that we knew, again, in our past, that we didn't know him at the time, but guy we went to school with, or guy I went to school, Matt and I went to school with, Mr. Perlman, was kind of famous for always winning the QFM back in Columbus, Ohio, the QFM contest. I can give away a secret now because I don't think it really matters, but he had won that big contest where it was like $1,000, or even it might have been $10,000. I don't know what it was.
Yeah.
You had to be the 96th caller. I don't know exactly again the amount, but his secret was, instead of calling in, and watch this, 821-9696, right? That was the phone number for all those stations back in Columbus. NCI was 92X was 821-9292.
Okay, that makes sense.
But yeah, his trick was 821, instead of 9696, he'd do 821-9697. Because what in the old days, with a single phone number that had multiple, and I think that's called the bridge, that you actually reserve several numbers, that if one was busy, it would roll to the second, roll to the third.
Oh, okay.
And he realized that when you called directly that number, that you actually had priority getting in because it wasn't being used as the rollover number or something to that effect. But I kid you not, won once, and the whole rule was you weren't allowed to win more than once. He won a second time. And they said, hey, you can't win more than once in 30 days. Then he started going around the classmates and picking lucky people to split it with them if he could use their name.
Oh, well, that's kind of
Yeah,
a
that's
conspiracy
ingenious.
there. Yeah.
No, absolutely ingenious. That was how he won. But yeah, I was just thinking about all the different radio contests. Like I said, the phrase that pays, and we wanted to be, as again, kind of the nostalgia behind giving something away. Be a podcast that gives something away.
Yeah, why not?
Do any others do that?
Considering
We don't listen to any yet, except for ours. But no, that's not true. We started to figure out, imitation, sincerest form of flattery. We're listening to others just to see how this whole thing works.
right, and we do a lot of the podcasts listening on YouTube where they have a video too,
Yeah,
which is always entertaining.
Well, I think that's next for us. I would like to have, and not that I could, run a board and doing audio and switching video. I think we'll just have one camera up that we can just capture the two of us talking. For example, just so we were trying to do this for the last 2 hours, and unfortunately, in the middle of us, the logistics of how are people going to, let us know
Their guesses,
what their guests
yeah.
to our, and we'll unveil the contest here in a second. And then that turned into oh geez moment. Well, I don't know how maybe they can post something on Facebook, and then someone says, well, then someone else can copy their answer. I go, okay, then, and then classic, ADHD sense, the Works podcast.com now is an official website we
Yeah,
just
how
built in
about
the last 2 hours.
With email.
Jesus God. And yes, we have emails thanks to GoDaddy, making it so easy. But where I was going with this is, we've noticed on some of the other broadcasts, the set, whether it's like Joe Rogan with his neon behind him sitting in what looks to be a real studio, right? And or others like Zach Galifianakis with his Between Two Ferns.
Yeah,
Why
it's
don't we just get
hysterical.
Why don't we just get 2 chairs?
Yeah.
And
That way you can watch me talk with my hands in Twitch. Those of you that know me, I don't sit still very well, and I talk with my hands. And
for the last 30 seconds, the last 30 seconds, it looks like there's some bug attacking her. I don't know what she's doing. She's now under the table, and I'm wondering if I'm going to have to do this by myself, which is fine.
What do you do? That's
I
a
talk
common
to
phrase
myself all the time.
It's a common phrase in our household. What are you doing? Like when I get lost in thought, I'm a work in progress.
Yeah, well, we've already talked about that before. So the contest and contests.
2.
We have 2. Does anyone remember? Again, this is kind of a homage to radio contests of the past, which I did look up some, and you didn't have any that you remember.
Well, I partook in one that they were. Was it QFM 96 in Columbus?
Yeah, did it involve drinking?
Well, afterwards it did, but yeah, they were paying homage to WKRP in Cincinnati, and instead of the turkey drop, they dropped out of a helicopter those tabletop turkey decorations. That you unfold. It's just like crepe paper.
I didn't know about that one. Of course,
and they had gift certificates in there. So it was at Gold Circle Mall in Westerville.
Oh, my God.
And there comes a helicopter, and, we're all giggling because we've been drinking before we went.
What time is this that they did the drop?
It was during the day, so obviously it had to be day drinking. but the helicopter, and there was a whole bunch of us in the parking lot, and they dropped a whole bunch of these, and everybody's running around, going this way and that way like a school of fish.
Well, I guess we'll have to look to see if there's any YouTube videos out there of.
Yeah,
I don't remember that when you've talked about that.
And I got a $25 gift certificate for Max and Irma's. It was
kinda
glorious.
nice.
Yeah.
Were there a lot? When they dropped them out, much like in WKRPs when Les drops the turkeys, as they were being described, like frozen bags of cement hitting the ground. And of course, the comment was, "I didn't know turkeys couldn't fly." But no, that's cool. No, I had no idea. Did they do that more than once?
I don't know. I think it was just that once. I'm gonna have to look that up.
Well,
that was fun.
That's So
good old WKRP.
Well, yeah, I put together a series of songs, much like they did on one of their contests. One of their episodes was the doctor, Johnny Fever, was promoting a giveaway of cash. He misread the card in front of him. Instead of $50 was the intended gift, he read it as $5,000. And then the problem became is they didn't have $5,000. They were a pretty cheap outfit. And so the solution was to make it so impossible to guess the songs and so out there that no one would be able to win.
Do you have a clip of that?
Oh, boy, what a great setup. So, yep, I'm going to, I've rewired our audio board. Let's see if this works. I took this snippet from YouTube, but this is the song. This is the
montage.
The montage of the song. Here it comes. And let me turn that up. Let me do it one more time, but I'll do it a little louder, okay? Now, I know I had you guess before. Mm-hmm. Do you have any clue of any of I know you had guessed
Freak Out.
Which it's not that, and I was
The
trying
freak.
to... No.
The chic.
Yeah, one more time. Now, a little side note, what's kind of interesting is that if now you were watching this episode and many other episodes, one of the things that have made it actually hard to get these episodes streaming anywhere is I had them on DVD, not even Blu-ray, but just DVD, but there was an issue with all the music that was being played because they were playing current music at the time.
Oh.
And because of ASCAP, BMI, and royalties, they had to change. The songs were ridiculous. They were rocking to these made up songs, for lack of a better.
That's
and that's that reminded me of listening to the greatest hits. K-Tel and the greatest hits.
Yeah.
And I wowed you with this bit of useless knowledge years ago that how cool it was that you could buy an album from K-Tel that had all of the popular songs of the day. This is before you could make a mixtape
for a penny or 13 cents.
It was cheap, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it was the cost of one album versus 15 albums to get all of those hits from the original artists. That was the key to the scam, the scheme that was K-Tel's greatest hits. Because, and I got one once, my money, kid you not, listened to him. Okay, this doesn't sound right. The song sounded kind of close, but it didn't sound right. Come to find out, and I'm an adult at this time, and it must obviously maybe not scarred me that much, but come to find out later in years that their gimmick was that they had a studio band called The Original Artists. So they sang songs that were popular at the time from the original artists.
That's brilliant.
It makes you think that, here's Andy Gibb singing whatever, or some other
KC and the Sunshine Band.
Randy Newman singing Short People.
It just doesn't sound right.
Right, but from the original artists. And I'll be damned. I knew I was right. It just seemed off. But yeah. So anyway, that little montage, and honestly, I can't make out any of these songs, and I'm going to tell them to you. It was Too Wild to Tame by the Boys. I never even heard of them. Mm-hmm. Tumbling Dice by the Rolling Stones, which I've heard of that, and I know that song, right? YMCA by the Village People.
Okay.
This is where it gets funny. Donkashane by Wayne Newton. Straight On by Heart. And the final one, The Star Spangled Banner by Francis Scott Key.
Wow.
So, and that was part of
what a spread.
Yeah, and to win the 5,000, they had to give the title and the art, the performer. And if I recall, the way the episode went was that the first caller actually got all the songs right, but got the artist wrong on one of them. And they go, "Oh my!" They were in trouble. And the second caller actually won it by just being able to ascertain 6 different songs in that 4 seconds of audio. So that brings us to our contest. So here's and I'll give you 2 hints. They have a theme, and you need 8. There are 8 songs jammed in this. You ready? I'll play it a couple more times. Ready? And I had you listen earlier.
Right, when you had longer segments. I think that one's a little bit...
It's a little tighter.
Yeah.
A little tighter, as we say in the business.
Yeah.
And by the business,
I
do mean the industry. That one made me giggle. Yeah, that was a good one. Kind of peed a little bit, too.
Well, what can you win if you figure out... Do you have to give the name of the song and the artist?
Okay, tell you what, because we want to give away, and the giveaway is some hot sauce or products from maidennc.com. Mm-hmm. Nice, selfish plug.
That's our big reveal. That is my hot sauce company.
So if you want to pick up a bottle of hot sauce, give us... Again, let's see who's the closest, but we'll give 3 bottles away for now, okay, on this, and then we have another contest that you came up with.
Right, but for the first 3 guesses, they each get a bottle of hot sauces.
Well, you got
3 correct guesses get a bottle of hot
3
sauce.
3 correct guesses, and if you're close, we will post on the Facebook page for now, since I didn't realize until 2 hours ago we were going to have a website. Now that we have a website, we can do a lot of that stuff there. But so send us an email at jim@theworkspodcast.com or diane@theworkspodcast.com. And we'll put this in our Facebook page. But again, I will play, and maybe I'll leave this clip separately on one of the platforms that you don't have to go back and listen to, but I'll zip it for a second and I'll play it 2 times in a row for you. Of course, you can rewind. We don't call it rewinding now, do we?
Right, play it again.
Okay, I'll shut up. One more time.
And again, send your guess to jim@theworkspodcast.com. Now, when you're talking about the royalties of watching WKRP on DVD and the songs are wrong, if you're gonna, what's the ruling with the FCC? If you're gonna be playing music at your business where you make money, you can't just use the songs. You have to pay the royalties.
Well, there's services, correct?
There's services to
yes.
pay for the music. So, back when the kids were in public school, there was this group called Boosterthon Fun Run. and we had touched base on this a little bit ago. And the kids run laps. And the Boosterthon Fun Run, those folks, they kept 40% of the proceeds that were raised. So they were very motivated to get these kids running and the giveaways. And this is how you call grandma to get bids. They're a real shady group, and that's a whole nother story that makes my skin crawl. But anyway, I was a Girl Scout troop leader. Quit giggling, those that know me. And it was Girl Scout cookie time. So I went up to the Boosterthon guys and I said, in the spirit of fundraising, you're in fundraising, I'm in Girl Scouts, we're fundraising, how about you buy some Girl Scout cookies? And they said, well, I've already bought a box. I don't need any more. Well, it's not easy being a troop leader in the whole cookie business. The girls were only getting 55 cents a box. But that just really ticked me off. You're getting to keep thousands of dollars, and you can't buy, back then it was a $4 box. Well, I happened to notice that as the kids were doing the fun run, that there were all these current music titles playing. All the current songs, just to get the kids pumped up.
Not from the original artists? From the original artists.
From the original artists.
Yeah.
So, I know a guy that used to be in radio that knows about FCC. And,
they got ASCAP and BMI got an anonymous phone call asking or pointing out that, again, it's one thing you're profiting off of the labor, or if you will, the intellectual property of the artist that wrote the song and the song, right? You can't, that just seems rotten to me.
Yeah. And so the next year they roll out and they were playing songs that were like 30 years old. It just was not fun. The kids are just scratching their head, wondering where all the cool music was. and I was like, you should have bought some damn cookies.
Yeah. And truly started the roller coaster of showing up at the principal's office frequently, not because we were bad, not that our kids were bad, but we were kind of, as a parent, it was fate that we ended up homeschooling, obviously, or honestly. It's just it.
I had a problem with them when they were telling my second grader, who's at the time was a very, very literal thinker, telling the group that if the girls raised more money than the boys, then the boys would have to wear tutus and dance the ballet. And he was in tears. Well, and I had a problem that they were in the kids' classrooms every day during learning time. And then they told my daughter's 5th grade class that if the boys raise more money than the girls, then they get to boss the girls around at recess. I was like, when there's a competition, nobody, at the Super Bowl, the losers don't have to do something degrading. And there are no losers in fundraising, but that's a whole nother topic. We'll get into that some other time. PTSD here.
Yeah, the thing that I recall more than anything from that whole transition from public schooling to the, again, I think at the time, incredibly obvious decision that we can't take this is with Common Core, the introduction, there were constant testing. Remember, it was the idea of we're requalifying our teachers, which on the surface isn't a bad idea. The problem becomes when you're so literal that, and you're taking a test and you don't get the first question, you're kind of stuck on it. Our kid would literally not jump to any other question. We were famous for, I was famous for always picking out the easy questions first and then going back. But because there was no prompting, there's no instruction on how to take a test.
Right. In 2nd grade, you don't have test-taking strategy, so every kid is crying.
Well, and again, in the teacher's defense, they were creating the everyone's equal environment to make the results. It just, again, let's have more fun. I don't know where we got. Yeah. But the whole idea of the contest, like I said, being nostalgic about, giveaways and, having fun with the turkey drop. We did the song thing. I thought that was fun. The other thing kind of reminded me of the things that I know we want to talk about too. The McDonald's giveaway. Remember the Monopoly?
Yeah, it was gone for so many years.
And they finally brought it back this past year. It's a lot, but it went digital, which kind of is a bummer. Honestly, it was fun collecting the pieces.
Mm-hmm.
You got the pieces in the... you got a piece with your item, a little, traditional Monopoly piece. But hell, there was no board, no place to put it. And then most of the play was the fact that whatever you got physically, you also got a digital version of that. So that means you had to have the app, which means if you had to have the app, that's when I became... Because I've refused. I just... It's one thing. I love going in the car and not taking the phone sometimes. Just you don't need this constant, touch point with. But neither here nor there. So the McDonald's thing, that was a big thing. As a matter of fact, another good binge watching episode.
Didn't somebody, they figured out it was one family, one group that kept winning?
There was a person. It was an inside job. I'm not going to give it away. We can talk about it some other time. But yeah, ultimately an inside job. What really was kind of at the end, if you look, not to again spoil the plot of the whole, scheme that went behind it. What's interesting is the guy that was associated, that got caught, that pled guilty ultimately. He did 3 years, but he ultimately netted, he and his family, was like $20 million. So I mean, it's kind of.
Well, I would spend 3 years in jail.
It's like with Bernie Madoff. I mean, the guy, how many years he got, and it was $600 million in a Ponzi scheme or Fonzie scheme, depending on how you interpret that. But yeah, that whole thing. So that made me think about again the sweepstakes and little crazy contests like to win a car.
Put your hands on a car.
Put your hand on the car. You got to break. You got to pee break every once in a while. But some of these contests have actually were dangerous. Somebody died because of the whole drinking water thing. How much water could you drink without taking a pee? It was pee for a wee, which is clever name.
Oh.
But
wow.
you consumed as much water. The first one to pee lost. And again, the last one standing, that was and someone ultimately perished because their body chemistry was all water or something to that effect.
That's crazy.
So that was one of them. But
Didn't somebody live on a billboard?
Yeah, I wish we would have to do some research on that because I do recall that there was when infertility was kind of a big thing and parents were trying to have kids and you had this whole industry around fertility, in vitro and stuff. So there were a couple of bigger radio stations that did Win a Baby, which is basically they gave in vitro which is not
the
cheap.
money, yeah,
right.
like $30,000 towards it.
Because back then, a lot of the insurance companies
didn't cover it.
They didn't. They came around to a certain degree, but now hell, if your cats wanted to have in vitro, that's covered.
I'm sure it is.
Yeah, but you had one other contest that we wanted to also indulge some of our smarter listeners with some hot sauce. And you can publish the or do you want to review that?
We'll talk about it because the goal is to listen to our podcast. You never know when we're going to roll out a giveaway. So this one, since we just had the Olympics end, go USA, way to go hockey. We're going to work some numbers here. So.
Because you like math.
I know. Shh. I want you to add up the digits of the year that the Olympics split off. It used to be they were both in the same year.
Meaning there was the summer and the winter games were in the same year.
That alternated every 2 years after that.
Yes. So if it was 1910, you'd add 1 plus 9 plus 1 plus 0.
Right. So add up the digits the year that the Olympics split. And then I want you to go to our The Works Facebook page. And there's going to be a picture made with peppers. I want you to add the number of peppers that you see in that picture at The Works on Facebook.
Now, the picture is of a 22, but that's not the answer.
I thought it was a 23.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yeah.
Anyway, so add up the digits of the year that the Olympics split. Add to that number the number of peppers in the picture. And then take that sum and multiply it by the number of stores that maidennc.com is in. That would be on maidennc.com's website. There'll be a video that'll show all the locations that our hot sauces are in. So, then that's it.
Yeah.
You
email that answer
to Jim
or Diane
at theworkspodcast.com, and you get your very own bottle of Made NC hot sauce, whether it be the Carolina Reaper or the Peach Habanero, or if you're a Southern person, you understand Cheer Wine. We have a Cheer Cola hot sauce. So, yeah, check it out. A little cross promotion here.
So, yeah, 2 contests, both give you the opportunity to win some free hot sauce. First one, how many songs and artists, or again, the goal is name all the songs and the artists in Name all the songs and artists. The hint is that they all have one thing in common, and there are 8 total songs. And the answer to your little mathematic
riddle.
We came back from an escape room. We did an escape room over the weekend. We've done it before, but this one was outstanding. The Richard, who was the host, was he bought this old church, and we were in Statesville, Statesville, North Carolina. Give me a second while I look up the name of the place. Yeah, that's what happens when you get old.
But he went about it with programming things with Arduino. So it's just he retired from IT and decided that he was going to open up an escape room. And
Key to Escape. Key to Escape. Most other establishments are, I guess you could call it almost a franchise kind of idea. Most facilities have more than one themed thing to go, or one themed escape room to be in. He's got 3. He's got an Elf on the Shelf one, a Wizard of Oz, and the one that we did had to do with whiskey and bootleggers and
in the years 1925.
1925. And again, Richard was amazing in describing not only the things that he did, all of the puzzles, and most of them, you get the traditional, you kind of try to decode the 3-digit or 4-digit number that you have to
you can see with a black light.
In one example, but there were a lot of things that to start. Before we even started, he had us choose between a white and a black button. You press one of the buttons, and all of a sudden these mice come running out and scare the crap out of you. But it was, again, remote controlled. He had all of this, wired up and done, but in an absolute beautiful church that even predated that. And they got all their money because they were bootleggers themselves. The story is that they had their own still speakeasy.
For this church, Catholic church at that. Yeah.
And so while I was doing the research on the sweepstakes, the giveaway stuff, one thing nice segue, the Catholic Church it's not that it's against, in particular, it doesn't say anything in the Bible about, gambling is bad. Because again, at the root of, between a sweepstakes and lottery, the whole kind of concept, sweepstakes, you're not wagering anything with us.
Right. There's nothing to lose other than information.
Exactly. Yeah. Or embarrassment if you don't, can't add, like I couldn't do her riddle without getting it wrong the first 2 times. But the interesting thing with the Catholic Church is that they don't they think it's bad, and they're never for casinos in an area that might infringe on their territory. Why?
With the bingo, yeah.
Because the Catholic Church themselves are famous for casino night.
Right.
And
That's
bingo.
a big
Talk about
fundraiser.
again, not to pick on the Catholics, but again, another hypocrisy. But yeah, so the church was this escape room in Statesville was built, it was like 1860, 1880s back in the days, and ultimately there was money that the key was the last name of the individual that was
related
ran
to
the church.
Related to Francis Scott.
Scott Key, which of course, nice segue, was the answer to the WKRP mashup music. That was the last song.
Yeah, very good. That was a beautiful segue.
Yeah. Yeah, escape rooms are fun. So that's what made us think about, hey, why not share with you all? Because, because we can. So until the next time, or until you all
email us.
Email with your guesses, or if you need more hints, please drop us a note. Be happy to help out. Love to give away some hot sauce. But until next time, this is Jim.
I'm Diane.
And you're listening to The Works.